Uganda's Little Hands Go Green is a civil society organization that spearheads environmental conservation education among children. The organization has been recognized for pioneering a new form of civic responsibility and leadership in the fight against climate change by using children as the main drivers of environmental conservation. Now, to tell us more about the organization and its programs, I'm joined in studio by Joseph Masembe. He is the CEO Uganda's Little Hands Go Green. Welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you.
It's been years since we spoke last.
Yes, it is.
Now, first, the most, I think, interesting part of your organization is the use of children. Why children?
Like I keep telling everybody, children always have a proprietary interest in the future. Now, every time you involve children in any exercise, you're guaranteed an assured future because they can own anything you give them as quickly as they grow up. I remember the last time I was here, I had a chat with you about planting a fruit tree.
Yeah.
And I think I picked it up the other day that you got your children to plant a couple of fruit trees.
Yes, they did.
The kind of excitement that gives you means that there is a lot of continuity. You've never had anybody cut a fruit tree. The thing about fruit trees is they sort out food security as well as increase the green footprint in any country. So yes. I think it's an amazing.
Now you appear to be, doing really very good work in Uganda, but to what extent has the community across the nation kind of embraced this message and involved their children in your programs? Interestingly
so, the communities have amazingly embraced because we now have an army of over, I should even say about over 100,000 children across the country. We have planted in excess of 460,000 fruit trees. The president has twice been to our events, but more than that, we have moved on to develop it into creating green ambassadors for the campaign. So in every school, you have about 7 green ambassadors. Children who wake up in the morning to ensure that they remind each other and the rest of the other peoples to make sure that they can plant a tree. We have a climate change conference that has seen little children coming together to voice their little views on climate change and on what they can do as private individual citizens in changing the shape of how our future will look.
And we know that Uganda is a fairly green country.
Yes.
Is this something that people can do in the other parts that are more arid, like even to the northern part of Uganda where it may not be as...
I think the interesting thing is because of the focus of what we are looking at as being fruit trees primarily, it means a fruit tree literally can almost grow in every other homestead. I mean, even in the arid places, you'll still find a mango tree growing. So it is something that has been scaled up, and it started off in, we've been in Yumbe, Kampala, Wakiso, so many districts across the board, and just recently in February, it moved cross-border to Rwanda, where Little Hands Go Green Rwanda was actually launched, and all we do is go show them the model, they scale it up and grow it. Now in Rwanda, every end of the month, the children get together with their families and plant a couple of fruit trees. So it is scalable, and it provides for excitement, vitamins, health, as well as making sure that the greener footprint grows.
Very quickly, many times the environmental issues become politicized, and yes. Sometimes there's the issue of land that perhaps is public land being grabbed by politicians. How are you dealing with that in Uganda, and especially a person like you?
I think even at the moment in Uganda there is a land amendment bill, but in as far as Little Hands Go Green is concerned and how we handle the land issues, most of the trees we plant, we insist on planting them within communities. But we also plant trees within the schools. So children who cannot plant at home, plant in schools. Now schools have started creating green orchards across the board. So what it does is, if I can't plant in place X, I plant in place Y. And at the end of the day, even if someone comes and takes the land, the fruit tree is still there for posterity.
I'm seeing us having a surplus of fruits in Uganda in the coming decades, thanks to your efforts. And I really appreciate you coming here to tell us all about it.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, that is Joseph Masembe, who is the CEO of Uganda's Little Hands Go Green.